and you're like, oh. And if you're a child watching that, you're like, oh. Like, minding your business literally could save your life. So mind your business. That's like having your mouth open and a bird shits in it.
But it makes sense because even though it's black people, they can't get black people because they really want black people, but they can't get them because we black.
And I'll be damned if I watch this movie again. Hey guys, and welcome back to another absolutely spirited video. My name is Layla, not Layla, not Lila, not Lola, not Delilah, and it's most certainly not Leonard. So as you guys can tell by the title, I am getting into some movies that effed me up. And when I mean effed me up, like, these are movies that I've probably seen maybe once or twice just to make sure that I wasn't crazy and never saw again. Most of them you have to be unhinged to enjoy. These movies are not for the weak. I will try my hardest not to spoil the movie with details, but I'll give you guys enough details that explain why it effed me up. So the first movie that I have that effed me up was Mississippi Damned. And I'll be damned if I watch this movie again. I think I watched this movie twice, and if you have seen this movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, for people who are or who need trigger warnings, there are topics and scenes of sexual assault and all those type of things, but that's not why the movie effed me up, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. It was a lot of stuff going on that just makes you wonder, are there other people that act like that? Are there other people that go through things like that? The movie was just all around just like a jaw-dropping feeling. Like, watching it, you can't blink because you're gonna be like, wait, isn't that the cousin? But that's the other cousin. It's too much. This movie is not something you put on for date night. I'll just say that. Okay, next I have this movie that my own mother told me to watch, and I still haven't forgiven her for telling me to watch this movie, but it's called Silence of the Lambs. And this movie is with Jodie Foster. And when I tell you that going into the field of crime, because anyone who knows me knows I'm trying to go into the field of crime, whether that be as a lawyer, forensic investigator, whatever, this just made me rethink everything that I went to school for. Because if I actually had to encounter this level of crazy in real life, I'd probably be crazy myself after dealing with such crazy people. But this is where the famous Hannibal Lecter comes in. And yeah, the movie is just about an FBI agent, and there's a case that she is sent on. And that's all I'm gonna give you guys. But it's just a lot of skin and body parts, and I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Oh, and then I think there's just one detail that I can share. The moment that I see a mentally ill person in prison throwing semen, I don't want to watch it ever again. So just keep that in mind when you watch it. And I'm just going to leave y'all with that. Now, this next movie is very disturbing for the sole purpose of it just being nasty. I don't like things that crawl and move with their body because they don't have arms and legs. And the movie I'm talking about that pertains to this is called Slither. The moment something is crawling in my mouth to take over my brain, no. Because why is your mouth even open when something is falling through the sky? That's like having your mouth open and a bird shits in it. Like, absolutely not. Stuff that crawls and slithers just makes me itch. And I think that's why I really didn't like it. Because the plot just shows white people not minding their business, and then boom, the world is pretty much about to end. Like, when you watch this movie, you're gonna be like, was this really necessary? Because you could have saved the entire planet and didn't even need to do half the stuff you did. Like, minding your business literally could save your life. So mind your business. Now, this next movie, I just feel like anybody with a vagina has seen this. Why? This movie I'm talking about is called Teeth. And trigger warning again, this movie does involve sexual assault. And when you watch the movie, you're kind of confused in the beginning of what the hell is going on. But when I tell you in an instant, you know immediately what's going on, you're gonna wish that you didn't. It's very disturbing, to say the least. Don't plan on watching it ever again. Now, this next one is literally just me being dramatic, but I put it on the list because if you've seen this movie, you know exactly what part I'm talking about, because not only did it leave me effed up, but I'm still bothered by it now. And this movie is Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2. When I tell you that this movie had me effed up, because Alice, why would you do that? Why would you do that to us? This is your future.
That's your future.
Girl, why would you do that? This movie left me effed up for a multitude of reasons, but Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2 did not need to gag me and pull me by my weave as hard as it did. I'm still hurt. I will never be over it.
So this next movie, literally, I can't be mad at it because it's kind of like a plot twist that had me effed up because it was such a plot twist. But all I can say is Black people got theirs with this movie. And it's called The Skeleton Key. And when I tell you that, like, our ancestors got they lick back in this movie, but when watching it, you understand why white people are getting their time to die, their time to get got, because Black people were just too smart. Even though the Black people, the main character Black people in this movie, are not good people, they're still getting their revenge. And it's all about immortality. But see, they're living immortally through white people. And when you watch the movie, you're gonna see like, dang, that's crazy, but it makes sense, because even though it's Black people, they can't get Black people because they really want Black people, but they can't get them because we Black. It's crazy, but you gotta watch it.
This movie walked so Get Out could run. Now, the next movie is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and this is the one from the 1970s, the original one. And the reason why this movie effed me up is because old school horror movies really didn't emphasize just the gore and the violence. Like, of course there was killing, but like there also was a purpose behind the killing and showing that some people are really just unhinged. And you know, this movie is about a family of cannibals and they are into some freaky stuff. But I think what creeped me out was the actual mask that he was wearing, and then it was just this one scene, the guy, and he was sucking on her finger, and it was just weird, very, very weird. It just gave the feel of like what crazy is. It literally like visualized crazy to the max, and for that movie to be so old and to have such an idea of what crazy is the exact reason why I will never be visiting Texas. I know that's extreme, I know that's dramatic, but ask me if I care. The next one is Annabelle, and I say that this movie effed me up because there's this one scene where one of the characters, if you watch the movie, you know who I'm talking about, but if you didn't, you're gonna have to watch out to find out who I'm talking about. But one of the characters jumped out of the window. And she jumped out of the window to sacrifice herself for the others. And that effed me up because that was so unexpected. And it's just kind of like, why did you need to jump out the window? Like, out of all things you could have done to take your life, you wanted to take the most like gruesome, painful way. Like, if I had to choose, it would not be jumping out of the window for the sake of a doll. I can't. Now, this one is kind of debatable, but the reason why I say that Child's Play effed me up terribly was because this man transferred his soul to a doll to keep killing people. Like, normally when serial killers get caught or serial killers are defeated, like it's done, it's over.
You got me.
Bro said, nah, I'm gonna figure out a way to continue to kill people. That's sick. That's sick. And it really just affirmed my semi-fear of dolls and toys in general. Actually, Toy Story did that because I just feel like the things in my room move when I'm not here, and then when I come back, it's like, you gotta stand still, mannequin. So this next movie is literally a movie that every Black child, I believe, has seen. And I believe that 95% of us were probably traumatized and scarred for life until we got into our adult years and rewatched the movie and probably still are terrified. And that movie is The Wiz. Now, I love me some Michael Jackson. I love me some Diana Ross. But that movie is the reason why I don't like parking underground. Those of you who have seen the movie know exactly what I'm talking about. And I just feel like this movie was unnecessarily a horror movie. It's a remake of The Wizard of Oz. It was supposed to be, I guess, the Black version, but never should we be presented like to be that scary. Like, I'm confused. It's a very nice, fun, upbeat movie, but then it has its moments of darkness, and you're like, oh. And if you're a child watching that, you're like, oh. So I'm just gonna apologize in advance because I feel like bringing up this movie just dredges up feelings, emotions, and memories we no longer want to have after seeing this movie. The strange thing about the Johnsons. Now, if you've seen this movie, again, I am sorry. But if you haven't seen this movie, I do not recommend watching it. Please take my word for it. Do not watch it. When I tell you this movie had me effed up because it was not what I was expecting at all. And I can't really give too much. I can say that, another trigger warning, it does involve sexual assault. But when I tell you it doesn't involve who you would think, that's what makes this movie effed up. And it's a very sad movie too, and it has some familiar faces. Like, it has that dude that played China Anne McClain's brother in Ant Farm. Yeah, you won't look at him the same, ever, because I don't. That's every time I look at him, I see the strange thing about the Johnsons. And the reason why I look at him crazy is why you shouldn't watch the movie. But with all of that, those are the movies that have effed me up that I could think of off the top of my head. Some movies just should remain thoughts and ideas. They should not be shared, and they should not be produced. But that's not the case here with some of these movies. With all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.